You know what? Jenny took my date, and now I'm mad. And it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go on Twitter and fuck his life out.
No, bro. If you take my date and I can get you fired, I'm getting you fired.
Be better, bro.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tash, aka ZIMbarbieAN, and this is a safe space on the internet where we like to converse about different topics. I'm going to start with you, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Taku. I am a brand consultant.
Okay, and you?
Hi guys, I'm Runvimbo, aka the Biminator, and I'm in brand development and also a part-time aircraft engineer.
Okay, cool. And yourself?
My name is Dennis.
All right. And you?
Hi guys, I'm DJ. I'm a chef entrepreneur. Every time.
Without
My name is
fail.
Dennis every time.
Okay, so today the topic is vigilantism. Have you guys heard that phrase before, that term before, vigilantism?
Yes.
Yes?
Batman.
Oh, okay.
Batman.
She said digilant.
Oh, vigilant. Oh, sorry. I heard vigilant.
But you're on the right path.
Never that
So-
term. Never that term.
Have you heard?
I think on Don't Fuck With Cats, Netflix.
Okay. It was there.
Yeah, it was some deep.
Do they
vigilante.
define it what it is?
No, they were going after a serial killer.
Oh.
Yes, people
On the internet.
You guys haven't watched Don't Fuck
No, I've
With
watched
Cats?
it.
Well,
I've watched it.
what is Don't
I
Fuck
still
With
want to
Cats?
watch
Dope
them.
flick. Dope flick.
Oh, for real? Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the definition, or the one that I understand it to be, is basically the same things that vigilantes do, but on the internet. However, now it has a much more broad term, which we'll go into. However, the first thing I want to reference. So there was this video, right? It was on Twitter where they were like, these girls. So there was this one girl that was taking pictures of herself at like a basketball game or some kind of game in America. And then behind her, there were two other girls who were like in the picture, photobombing her and like kind of semi being rude, I guess. The girl who was taking the video then put the video on the internet. And the tagline was something like, "Watch how these girls ruin my self-esteem in 2 minutes." The internet got mad. And they were like, you know what? Chakuonesa. What they did was they go to like the girls' jobs and then they're posting like bad reviews on a company that's not even hers, by the way. They're giving them 1 stars, etc. And this is one story out of something that happens a lot, which is when you do something and then like your behavior outside of work then goes into work and people decide to like cancel your job, etc. as a way to cancel people, right? So I wanted to ask, first of all, do you think that there's a difference between cancel culture and this new wave that's happening with internet vigilantes?
No.
Well, I personally think that it is this whole movement towards this woke culture. And so woke culture is saying to yourself that, A, it matters that, look, we all understand DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. 100%.
Excuse us,
Okay.
Mr.
Okay, sir.
Marketer. No, we
Okay,
don't
sir.
understand.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Well,
Please
With
elaborate.
the big
Hey,
words.
Tuturama nudes.
Like,
Tuturama nudes.
so to be woke, because I'm woke. I'm waking up.
en route.
Yeah, I'm en route to waking up. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is a big thing that's going on worldwide and all of this kind of vibe. But what you're talking about, I think it is a bit messed up to put us into those kind of categories and force us, not put us, force us into these categories of be diverse, be inclusive, be equitable. Don't force people into those kind of categories as long as you're not a person in power, because people in power are the people who can dictate that narrative.
But how does people on the internet kind of feeling justified or punishing you for bad behavior work into that? Like, how is that a part of them forcing you into some diversity box?
Because who are they?
Yeah.
Who are they to give me?
Yeah.
Who are
Like,
they?
how dare you?
Actually.
That is my opinion, and I think that unfortunately social media has put us in this kind of position where people are now saying that I can voice my opinion, and so if you're going to voice your opinion on social media, then also accept that you're going to get
Backlash.
some response.
Yeah.
You know.
Really though?
Yes.
No, because everyone knows Kuti, social media is social media. Like you can, not even social media, but like if you go Mubawa somewhere and you say some outside comment, you should get fired for that?
No.
Yeah.
For what?
No.
Meanwhile, you're a farmer and don't go to my baby.
No,
It's not even related at all.
It's been part of our culture. Like mob justice has always been part of human culture. Yeah.
Which is
that's fair, right? But like, so to use your analogy, right? Like, so Tirimbawa and Didiga, right? That within itself is a close conversation because it's just the people in that room, right? When you then go onto the internet, it's then a free for all, and the thing is, like, people can misinterpret, and in my opinion, in terms of like digilantism, right? Someone will take offense to something that they take offense to. That's not necessarily offensive. And then someone might then end up like fucking up your work life just because they took offense to something that you said on the internet.
But are we denying
and also
that
you
now there's like a cross between like the physical person and also the digital person? That's we're morphing. Like there's something that's happening.
But that's exactly the issue. Like, should there be that morphing, first of all? But before we go there, you mentioned something about mob justice has always been a thing, which I know is a thing because we speak about it as being problematic. So why are we now using the same rhetoric to justify it on the internet? Like, oh no, thieving has always been a thing. That's Chibira Nema Bitcoin. Like, why are we now using it as justification for what's essentially mob justice on the internet?
And I'll get to that because I agree with you that it is that, right? But when you make that distinction between the digital person and the real life person, there's also the aspect of this thing starts off at a football game in real life. It doesn't start off on Twitter. So the consequences that you're facing are actually the consequences from your real life actions as opposed to your actions on the internet. It was just put on the internet, and that's why everyone knows about it. However, the reason why people are calling for you to get fired is because you're bullying someone at a game. And so the question is bullying, does it warrant someone getting fired from their real job? Which I think is a fair conversation.
It might be a fair conversation on Dennis's channel. However, shots fired. However,
basically,
because you know what because I don't want to deviate from what the topic is, and it actually goes to what Dennis was saying right now, where it's like, well, these are the consequences of bullying that you did in real life. But let's not lose fact of those aren't the actual consequences. Like, if you are bullying someone in real life, you get, maybe they'll press charges, and then you get taken to the police, and there's like a due process of like, did you do this or did you not? Those are real life consequences. What mob justice is on the internet and internet vigilantism, I don't want to morph those into being the same thing. So, like, is it justified? Are we justifying mob justice on the internet?
So I would say, so I would say no, and the reason why is that, or at least in my opinion, right, is that you then end up with someone, for example, who feels some type of way because whether when they were growing up, they were bullied at school, whatever it is, right, and then to get back on all of the people that bullied them when they were growing up, they're gonna fuck your life up, right? Which for me is a completely unfair equation, right? Because I didn't do anything to you. Right, so then, like, if I'm bullying, Tash, for example, and then she comes back at me, fair enough, right? But it doesn't then mean that, like, Dennis can then come and be like, yo, you did this to Tash, so I'm going to ruin your life.
No, but what bullying is, right, at its core is you're doing someone to someone who can't do anything back. That's why you're in upper six bullying a Form 1.
Fair enough.
So, yes, we've already established that I can't do anything to you. But there are other people who can, and that's what they're going out of their way to go and say, you know what, we're actually going to discourage this behavior by reporting you to your job.
But can we define what vigilante is? What vigilantism is?
Okay, so like when you speak of vigilantes and like what exactly
Batman.
Like what TJ had said
Batman.
before, it's like Batman. First of all, I would say vigilantes in general are illegal.
Yes.
But before we even go there, in terms of what it is, It's people, okay, it's being in a situation where you feel justice has not been served or cannot serve you, so you take matters into your own hands in terms of dealing out justice. Yeah. That's my understanding of it. I don't know if we concur.
Yes.
So that's what it means to be a vigilante. And then when we take it onto the internet, it's people feeling the same way, but on the internet and being like, we're going to take it into our own hands to make sure that people are held accountable. The big word is accountability, are held accountable for their actions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now what I'd want to ask is, in talking about this
Vigilantism.
Vigilantism.
Can I go to vigilante?
Yeah, I went to school. So why do you need that validation from? Because look, let's talk about like human beings generally, right? Okay. Do you really have real world 5,000 friends? You don't, right? Your real talk, but then like Facebook convinced us that we've got 10,000 friends. Right. We've got how many other followers? That was just like Facebook convincing us on this shit, right? In real talk, does it really matter to say that, oh, I said to you, okay, fine, you're my friend. But if you're not my friend, right? I go onto Twitter and I'm like, oh, Tash is a bitch. Or whatever. Does that really matter? And I'm living in like Poland. Why should that matter to you? And then they're Polish people start giving shits about it, and I don't. And we don't. Your husband doesn't. Like, doesn't matter.
That's actually a great point.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Taku, but I think I look at social media in terms of community, and I would like to use like a real life example that happened like next door. Like the Thabo Bester story. There was also some sort of vigilantism that happened there.
Where?
How? Please.
Please.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. How they found him.
How they found him. Someone had someone.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were saying Thabo
You placed the
I've got two examples. That's one of them. Right. Someone had the confidence and it enough to take a picture of this guy, then posted it on social media. Then social media got onto this. Imagine this person was still scamming people and doing whatever they wanted, and now they don't have to get away with that thing anymore because a community came together and be like, no, let's get to the end of this thing. Okay, then there was another example of a certain lady in America, I think, New York. Her name is Gomez or whatever. She actually stole a phone in the back of a taxi. Yeah. And when she stole the phone, then she uploaded her pictures. And of course, she hadn't been a criminal for long, so she didn't know, you don't do that. You know?
She hadn't been a criminal for long. She's doing an apprenticeship.
So me, Tash's phone gets stolen. Then me, the friend, Ari hectic. I'm like, no, this is her name, her pictures. Let's go after them. I build a whole website about this person and the story and post the pictures. First, I ask you nicely, could you please bring the phone back? And you're like, to hell with you. I'm like, right. I'm going on the internet. Post everything, how everything happened. Then everyone now starts joining in. And everyone's like, no, why are you being like this? Why are you just steal a phone that you didn't even work for? Why not? And he was even like, you know, I'm never going to give back the phone. Even the brother was in military, got involved in this. And everything, it was wild. This story is available online. They ended up giving back the phone because there was
too much pressure.
There was too much pressure. So about vigilantism, I think because why people then go online is because internet has given us some sort of a power.
Oh, is it?
You know, that we don't have physically to access.
However, there are two things.
To access even certain individuals that we don't would not even see or access any time of day.
Of which I get that.
You know, what is it? To some extent, that's why I would be like.
So,
TJ?
In my opinion, that is exactly the problem, right? Because so I think like we've made the discernment between like your digital life and your real life, right? And so like there's a bunch of people who in real physical life there's no guan, right? Like like keyboard warrior, right? Like you just kind of do whatever, but like it's on the internet I'm somebody and so on. And like I'm saying, the thing is, So I think like the thing.
Technical difficulties,
sorry.
as you were teaching.
So it then kind of gets blown out of proportion, where someone overcompensates on the internet in terms of their reaction. Because they would never react like that in real life. Like, they could react and say, I don't like that, that was wrong. Maybe you'll fight. But you're not going to lose your job because you did something to someone, right? And the thing is, like, that fight, yeah, you have a bruise or whatever, but it doesn't fuck up your whole life. And for me, it's now where people, like, because they don't have voices in their normal lives, now they abuse this voice online, which is the problem that I have with this vigilantism thing. And I mean, like, great enough, if, we find a trouble-based or whatever, people find their dogs, they find their families and so on. Right, but now when we're attacking, like vehemently and viciously attacking people, nah, bro, because you never do that in real life anyway, right?
So I was gonna say, there's obviously a line somewhere, right? So for example, let's take R. Kelly.
Right. Where are you going?
I'm saying that it sounds like, or in most spaces that I'm in, people generally are like, you know what, he deserved to get cancelled, right?
Right.
Bill Cosby too.
Right.
Meaning that there's an extreme somewhere where people should get cancelled.
Right.
And then we're saying, the bullying at the game, not so much.
Yeah.
So where's that line? Because obviously there must be a line somewhere between those two things.
I feel like, first of all, the transition from cancel culture to vigilantism is the proximity. So in my mind, cancel culture really made sense in terms of celebrities. And it was more about perception than it was about like them going to jail, etc. So people were like, I'll cancel his music. I'm not going to listen to them anymore. It wasn't as much of like, I'm going to go to your job or I'm going to get the police on you. Like individual people weren't doing that. But then we then extrapolated it from that to, okay, I'm going to get Bobby next door fired. You know what I mean? And to me, that's the extremity, because we're not even putting the justice system into work at all, which goes to my next question, which is, do you think that, particularly when it comes to the internet or things that happen on the internet, that you are within a judicial system that can give you solutions to issues in that space?
Okay, so I think two things, right? And it actually, what you're saying goes to what Runvimbo was saying, is that there should be a stark difference between what do they call it? They call it civil journalism and digital vigilantism. They're two very different things. So yes, when we're talking about national issues that have got impact and you've got a social opinion on that, that's civic journalism.
Right.
Cool. Digital vigilantism, how I'm understanding it, is to say like, you're trying to be Batman on the internet.
Yes.
And so yes, you're saying that what I believe to be the truth is what should be manifest. And that is wrong.
Yes.
In and of itself, that is wrong.
Facts.
So like, there's nothing about
Facts.
what you're thinking that makes it okay.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, let's go to the judicial system. Is this legal? Do you actually have what they call it in law? You call it what? Locus standi or whatever they call it.
Oh, listen,
we
don't, bro.
I don't know.
Smaller words, and we're trying to understand each other.
But yeah, but basically, like, do you actually have the right to actually appear on this issue?
Oh, that is locus standi.
Oh, okay. No, I don't understand.
I went to law school, by the way. So I'm saying, like, do you actually have the right to speak, to actually present and appear on this issue, and then to take the law into your own hands?
If that's the standard that you're applying, if the standard is it should be the legal route,
right?
Then why is there a different standard for celebrities?
In terms of what? In terms of the law?
Why can't we just wait for it to go through whatever judicial systems and processes? Because R. Kelly's been arrested, right?
Yeah.
So
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
You're very much about R. Kelly.
I agree with Dennis, right? So what? And to your point, Tash, right? So what the internet has given people is a system outside of the judicial system, right? Because by the time the judicial system acts, the internet has already happened because of how quick it is, right? And it's like, I feel bad. I'm not going to say R. Kelly or Bill Cosby because controversial. Hey, it is what it is. I'm going to go. But, right, like, it's like, no, I have an opinion about this, so I'm going to act on it now, right? And that person sometimes doesn't even understand what the law is or what due process is. right? Which is why again, my opinion is that it's an unfair thing to happen, because then it's almost an overcompensation for your action, right? Again, right? Like, so you bully someone at a football game. It's a sports game, bro. Like, it's a game of sport. And what if you're on the other side? Yeah, no, hold on, right? No, what if you're on the other side and you scream obscenities at each other? Should I get fired for that? No.
See, but the thing is, it's easy to be politically correct. I always say this. It's easy to always want to say the right thing.
Yes.
However, when it's happening in terms of like what Bim said, and like the Thabo Bester situation, or when somebody's phone, or there was a recent one with a wig getting stolen, you don't mind. However, when it comes to the game, etc., you do mind. The question now is, where do we draw that line? Like, in what situations is it okay, and in what situations are we like, oh, okay, wamanya?
Human being, I think, like, as human beings, right, the biggest problem that we've got is that we're inherently selfish. So you actually start to think to yourself that, oh, me writing a tweet actually matters. It really doesn't, and it really shouldn't. Because, as you're saying, where should we draw the line? Is understanding that your actual people matter, and they care about your opinion. Your social media people, yeah, they just look at it and they just want like some clickbait, some
they're there for entertainment.
They're there for, thank you. Yeah. They're there for entertainment. And so they're looking at it. They're like, oh, okay, what did Tash say today? No, let's see.
Yes and no, because you're saying that because you got like 2 followers.
But like, this used to be a safe space. It used to be a safe space.
No, but facts.
Shout out to Elon Musk.
The start of this conversation where we say that your tweets don't matter is also a little bit disingenuous to the entirety of the conversation as well, because they do matter.
Clearly, people are getting fired because someone tweeted.
But even if you apply for a job, they go and look at your tweets.
Exactly.
So they do matter.
So your tweets do matter. But the question is, how much should they matter?
Yes, yeah. And should they really matter? Like, even you as a person who tweets every day, who's always going to be like consistent and persistent on your Twitter, right? Like, what is that?
What?
Are you okay?
I think you have a tennis cough.
A person is coming.
It's a dentist flu.
How you are and how you behave and how you act on social media, there's going to be a time where it's going to be used against you. That's where we're heading to.
So
and,
I hear that point, and then I'm actually going to ask this question, and I'll start with you, TJ. So is essentially social media real life? Like, there's no separation of the two, your life on so, because even if we think about like the new thing with Elon Musk and him selling verifications, etc., or like NFTs and people not really, like the whole drive was to say that collecting real art is not even that important anymore. People buy skins so much, etc., the metaverse, because now your life on the internet is your life. That blue tick means a lot, and that's why people would be willing to buy it. And so, like, are we essentially saying that social media is real life?
No, right? So the reason why social media perception matters is because, in my opinion, again, right, like it all comes down to money. And so, like, for corporates and stuff, their social media perception matters. So, like, your job matters and how they're perceived online matters, because that is how they market to you, because we all use social media, right? That being said, they do all of these things, but then you do those things so that it can be tangible in real life, right? And you can't escape it, right? Like, because there are people who are highly and wildly popular on the internet, and they're no one in real life, right? And like, right? And the thing is, you can spend as much time as you want online. At some point, you're going to have to log off. You're going to have to turn around and talk to somebody.
No, you're not. You really don't have to.
Bruh, are you lying?
You really don't have to.
Are you lying, bro?
You really don't
Are you
have
lying,
to.
bro?
Yeah, I want to say something on
What
this.
was it?
How are you living?
Okay, the way I look at it, as in, I want to just bring it back to like digilantism, right?
Right.
I've got it. Digilantism. So what I want to say, right, when you talk about digilantism, is that, look, Elon Musk decides to do X, right? Does that have anything to do with you? in Zimbabwe.
Honestly,
It's got
that's my
nothing
point.
to do with
That's
you.
my point, bro.
And so if you've got
So
an
it's like, just
opinion,
leave it
if you got an opinion about it, you'd say that opinion to your friends, right? Go to your homies and be like your actual real life friends and ask them that, yo, this is my opinion on this shit, right? If you don't, then if you want to just go on Twitter and be like, oh, tweet so that your 2,000 followers or 5,000 followers know about it, why? Elon Musk couldn't give two F's about it.
But then that's all fair and fine to say on a high horse somewhere and about how the world should be, etc. Until the day text, you're netted in jam tree and you say fuck you on to some person and then they come on the internet and they say he didn't even know that I have a disability or something that you had no idea about in that moment, and then next thing you're fired. You're not getting people who are subscribing to your company. You're getting all these things.
Okay, can I bring it to Zim? Can I bring this thing to
saying.
Zim actually about a situation that happened like last year, right? A friend of ours, right? He, big person at Jamtree, whatever, have a good time. Then there was this whole thing. I think you guys remember there was this whole spiel about, hey, don't go to Jamtree, don't blah blah blah.
Jamtree, blah blah blah.
So he's the one who actually instigated that whole thing, right? And yeah,
Oh, the racism thing.
yes, he felt some kind of way, whatever. Doesn't go there anymore as a personal thing, choice. But like, he took it straight to the internet.
Yeah.
So that I think is definition of digilantism, right? And yes, yeah.
You were in Jamtree last week.
And I'll be in Jamtree next week.
Yeah, but I mean, like he felt a kind of way, created a whole movement. There were like thousands of tweets about this and whatever on socials was going around the block. But
So
open.
no, exactly, no, and that was gonna be my point, right? All of that happened, the whole thing, and it was big, right? Like literally, like tens of thousands of people were like, "No, it's cancelled, it's done, whatever." Where is Jamtree now?
Byron.
Alive and well,
Byron.
Andiji, right? So like you can't say that no, because I have this presence online or I do this online, it either allows me to escape real life or it matters more than real life. And where, in terms of even like vigilantism, like the fact that it then affects your real life.
Yeah.
I think there's like what can I call it? Like there's a, not like a disillusion, right? But like there's a disparity there.
Okay.
Right? Because like the power that you have online does not equate to real life, right? And so there should not be real life consequences to the power that you have online, right? Just because you have a voice, it doesn't mean that you should be able to ruin someone's life. Have a voice and have an opinion about them.
Okay, but
But
we need
then-
to decide whether we think it matters or not. Right?
Exactly.
Like, does it matter? Because if it doesn't matter, if what
Right.
you guys are saying is whether I say whatever I say about Jamtree, nothing's going to change,
Yeah.
then why does it matter that I'm saying it? Or are we saying that, we're ruining people's lives over things that are happening and therefore we shouldn't do it?
Because we're
We have to
arrogant
figure
and
this out.
selfish.
Yeah. So what I would say is that because it makes you feel
I don't
important
think
online.
It's about people being arrogant and selfish. I mean, digivigilantism or even offline vigilantism, there's someone who's going to benefit and someone who's going to get, fucked.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
There's
Unfortunately.
winners and losers,
That's what it is. And it's like even when the Kenya Airways thing happened with that other girl.
Yes, I saw that.
I've never used Kenya Airways. Shout
I
out to
did, it
Kenya
was
Airways.
shit.
Shout out.
But they've never
I'm
had the
still
best
open to
reputation about
collaborate.
luggage.
We're just fine.
Everyone complains they don't get their luggage from Kenya Airways. Even when I'm looking for a ticket, I'll just be like, hey, Kenya Airways.
Yeah.
But then what I'm trying to get to is
We like Kenyans though.
it brings to their attention whatever happens with this vigilantianity, they bring something to our attention because now we are so consumed with social media. I think with this conversation, if we do not say that 60% of our time we use it on social media, I think we're doing a disservice. That's why some of these conversations happen because most of us spend almost like 60-80% of our time on social media.
I have a question.
And that's why people bring these things there to that platform because that's now the reality that we live in. Back then, Taitamba ma wombwega.
Yeah.
But now, Twitter.
I mean, I get that, but then I also have a question because you said that it will be bringing things to people's attention. And then sometimes, from my perspective, there's fake outrage. Like there's people who actually don't care about a certain thing, but they'll add on to the narrative because they want to be seen as having been on the right side of the story when a dragging happened, even though they don't really care about it. Whereas the people that are going to be firing you and whatever in real life are looking at those people who actually didn't care about the guan and actually being like, oh, now because 100 people said this, I'm not going to have you in my company anymore. So like, and drawing things to people's attention, I think is problematic.
There was also an issue like when this white guy in South Africa, I don't know, he was on the beach. It went viral and he was saying some racist stuff and he got fired. I think his name was Adam or something. He got fired from his job. And so sometimes you can even self-sabotage. And some vigilantes,
no, but that nigga was racist anyway, though. That nigga was racist anyway, though.
But then,
he should have got fired.
Well, but also, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't have got fired, first of all. Well,
okay, wait, hold on. All right.
The point I'm making is I don't think he should have got fired because being racist is not a crime.
Actually,
let's go to that.
Fair enough.
Why do you want him to get fired?
No. Being racist is not good. Okay, no, look, so what I was going to say, right? It sucks.
It sucks.
So what I was going to say is that ons then have like this control of this power online that they don't have in real life. Which again, because they know, because the thing is, you can have an opinion about something, right? In real life.
Take advantage of that power.
Because you go too far.
Because the thing is, like Tasha said, no, hold on. Because you then end up talking about things that you don't know or understand. And you don't even care about the guan. You just, and I said the right thing. And then your right comment right? That's an unfair equation because you didn't even give a fuck whether I got fired or not. But I got fired.
Because in the first place, you had no business saying whatever what you were saying. If you know as an individual that you've got no business saying it out here in the public in a physical setting, then can I join that by social media?
Hold on. Wait, no, hold on.
No, I want to not segue. I actually want to build on you right now. Actually, it's like as human beings, we've got agency, right? So you've got a choice to say, as you guys are saying, that your social life, your digital life is going to be seen by employers, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You've got the agency to say to yourself that this is not a Twitter thing, right? Even if you scroll through your feed and you're like passionate, you realize that I cannot put this on. Like, I'll say, like, on my Twitter, you go to my Twitter, you go into all my socials, right? It'll be, it's your business, what. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Do I have high opinions about a lot of things that I read? Of course. But I'll never go, because there I've got my full government name on my Twitter. I've got no ghost accounts, you know. So, like, I'm not going to be like...
In case of you wondering.
No ghost accounts anymore.
You're with the real one.
It's me. Follow me at. But anyway, I've got no ghost accounts or anything, right? So I make sure that what I say on the digital platforms is curated. Is curated to what I want to be perceived as outside of my friends. My friends know.
The personal decision of how you're going about your Twitter. When in actual fact, people will literally show you videos of themselves cooking crack in their microwave on Twitter. So like, some people definitely don't have any sorts of like boundaries about what they put on there.
Right.
But I wanted to say, I think if you go into blaming people on Twitter for why you got fired from your job, you're also taking away from the actual person who fired you from your job.
Fair enough.
If you guys are saying that this is not okay and people shouldn't be getting fired from their jobs, then the people that you should be talking to are the people that are firing the people from their jobs.
I think they should be fired. I don't think so. I don't think so because first of all, as an entrepreneur, Dennis, you know that like the You know that like the perception that people have on your company matters a span. You know that that's going to affect your bottom line.
Exactly.
And if you have someone in the company that's being problematic to the effect that they're going to affect your bottom line, you're not firing them because you don't agree with what they did or whatever. You're firing them because they're a liability.
Exactly.
So,
Actually.
So here's the thing. People have the option of paying money to whoever they want to pay to when they're buying products. So if your behavior is something that we deem to be inappropriate and therefore we don't want to support your business because of it, that's absolutely fair. Regardless of why I'm coming to that decision.
Right.
If what you're doing doesn't align with what I want, I don't have to give you my money.
And if you're my employee,
and if you're my employee and you go and you do something that's going to affect my bottom line, you're leaving my
Fired.
business.
Exactly.
So-
That's
so-
our point.
Do you know there was the former U.S. ambassador to Zim in one of his interviews said, if you don't want people to say bad things about you, maybe don't do bad things.
Yeah, there's
And
nothing to talk about.
Don't go bullying people at sports games and you will get fired.
No, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. So I have a counter question, Andidiga. And we've all been there.
Play stupid games, win stupid.
Wait, Andidiga. Right, so we've all been there, Andidiga. Where like maybe you're drunk or you're having too much fun.
Right.
And then you do something silly, stupid, irresponsible. Any of those are options, Andidiga. And then someone just so happens to record it.
Yeah.
And then put it online.
Yeah.
And then you get fired for that.
Yeah.
Right? What is wrong?
Drink less next time.
Hey, no, bro, no, because the thing is, you didn't actively do anything wrong.
I agree with you.
You didn't actively do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just someone posted it online.
In our family, we call them moments of madness.
Right.
Like we all go through some moments of
Yeah.
madness. You know, like when you're like, even the next day, you're questioning yourself, like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know,
then someone
Drink
puts you
less,
on H
which is
Metro
good advice.
or I don't know. Next thing you're on H Metro Twitter account.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it would be unfair for you to get fired, but I don't think Vigilante goes to that extent. If there's something
They do.
that is
They
wrong.
do.
That's exactly the
That's exactly what they do.
That's what they do.
Because
That's exactly
even
what they
then,
do.
like, so what we're speaking about right now, and even when you said, oh, just don't bully someone and you won't be bullied. So the two girls were in the video that I referenced previously, right? Part 2. There's more.
Wow.
They did a reply, and they were like, first of all, you don't know the background of this.
Yeah.
Her husband had been taking pictures of us before then. And also, we then thought it would be funny if we photobomb it so that they stop taking pictures of us.
Right.
I don't know whether or not I believe the story or whatever it is. However, only after people have been cancelled and fired, etc., you hear this other side of the story, and there's no one to hold accountable because the people that were typing on the internet are just like, oh, okay, and then move on to the next story.
Can I ask, I want to ask a question, like, building on that. Is that, do you think it is necessary as a vigilante?
Right.
I thought you had it.
Yeah. Where did it go?
I'm getting there. Is it necessary for, because okay, let me take from the top. Firstly, the issue is, even with the media, that the media has become very messed up because of social journalism. So you have CNN, you have Fox, you have whatever, BBC. They're not getting their facts as quick as they used to. Because before they used to have time, right?
Yeah.
So things are just happening. So now when we talk about, like, even at this level, is it on you? Let's say you had these vigilantes, right? All up in your posts. Is it on you, instead of attacking them, to have actually done your own due diligence and been like, okay, let me see what the context was before replying? Or should you just be like, oh shit, these bitches said this, so you know what I mean? Like, so
With the third world problem
where does even the person who responds, how should they respond?
So
Should they have to respond in the first place? I don't think it should even be a point of discussion to start with. And also, the thing with digilantism for me is the fact that the person who was actually wronged in that situation is usually not the person who's getting the other person fired. It's everyone else on their behalf. So it's not even me who was perpetrated against that's actioning anything, but I've put the message out into the world.
I don't know. I don't know that was that funny. I don't know.
So to me, the question that I would actually like to bring up is when we're doing vigilantism, in some situations, I think we've all agreed that there's in some situations where it works and we're happy for it. And then there's other situations where it doesn't, or like we think, oh, that's too extreme. And who sets the parameters of whether the punishment fits the crime?
I would say the people commenting, right? Because you're the one giving the opinion. And so you are the one, so like, because then the comments matter, right? You know, so I can't remember who said, but it's like, oh, you know, and then you like 300 people comment on this. No, they shouldn't, right? But then that's what then your graph will go off, where it's like, you know, 300 people said, Shakatara Dennis Ashit. And the only person who's setting that line is the person making the comment, and whether it matters to them or not.
So you guys saying we shouldn't?
No, but I think I go with
that's the thing. That's the thing.
I agree with Dennis that, you know, who draws the line, especially with this one example of whatever.
It's okay. This thing about tea.
And if it's coming from a
we're
corporate,
learning new words today.
has that pressure to fire you, right? Then it's on the corporate. They know you and what you bring to the table, what value you add. It's on them, not on the vigilantes online. So that's on them. But when it comes to like other social and national structures like Anatabo based, yes, give us our
flowers.
Flowers.
Take away.
Yes, what?
No, but there's a difference between commenting on something and vigilantism, right? Because you can comment and give an opinion. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily attacking someone.
Yes, it's freedom of speech.
What if my opinion is this establishment is racist, and therefore I'm not going to be going there anymore?
That's fine.
And then you come and join and you say, you know what? I agree with Dennis. If this is a racist institution, then we're not going there. That's how it is.
Yeah, but
right?
that's how it goes.
Like,
That's
you
fair,
know, like what Hova said, you know, it's all about numbers. Like you said, Japchi was accused of being racist, but look at them now. They were accused.
You keep saying like Dennis said when he was TJ.
Okay, but then it's all about numbers because someone's experience is not your experience. There are other what's that group that's online? The Anonymous.
Yes, actually, I was going to come to that.
Political, whatever, classified stuff and everything. People, I'm sure 60% of people who are not in governments or anything are happy to have a group like that. And it's actually shocking that we actually have people like that who actually push for people to know what's actually happening behind the scenes.
But this is what I want to
So
ask.
that active vigilantism, people are really, they don't complain about. Because they're actively doing something that we appreciate.
Exactly. No, again, right?
No, but wait,
it's important to you.
TJ, what I want to ask.
The experience is different according to the numbers.
No, and this is why, right? I want us to, in fact, Tash, please define. There is civic journalism, and then there is vigilantism. Right. So we need to define them because a lot of the stuff that you've been talking about, right? I look at it as civic journalism. Yes, if I go to Matapi and I see that shit is fucked, right, and I'm taking pictures of that, I believe that's civic journalism. Right. If I now, if Tash posts a tweet and she's like, and she says X, and I'm like, oh, I feel some kind of way. I feel that's what you're talking about, digi-vigilante.
But even like when we started the
So-
conversation,
Yes, but it's so different.
I asked Tash to define.
So I think maybe let's just even
Let's Google define it because at this point, child,
No, we did ask. And it is there when someone like, and that's Batman. Batman is the banner of
vigilante.
Yeah, because look, a crime. Look, a crime is a crime. So look, Batman is
but
attacking
even if it's
crimes.
a crime, you take things into your hands.
Yeah, he's taking something into, but which is a crime. Yes. But like, if I've got an opinion and then you now come on me, right? Is that you? Who are you to freaking tell me shit?
So what I was gonna say just about the internet in general, right, is that even in terms of us having this discussion, which is a great discussion, right, is that it's uncharted territory, right? Like the law hasn't even gotten there yet, right?
There's law about
No. There is some.
Yeah.
There is some,
Not
right?
Vigilism.
Right, but like exactly, right. So there's no law that governs that. You know, if Tash does this, or bully someone, or does this or does that, it is illegal, right?
But before we go there,
Yeah.
I have a question. Is there a difference between this vigilantism and cyberbullying?
That's a
great question.
That's why I wanted you to define.
There's
I-
a thin line.
Very thin line.
Because ultimately, if you have an opinion about what someone did and then you're like rallying or have other people get on that person for that thing,
Because
you're essentially cyberbullying.
Like what we're
Exactly,
talking
yeah,
about,
that's
the
a
soccer
cyberbullying.
field, Anita.
Yeah.
You start as the bully, right?
Yeah.
You fight with someone and someone is recording, you're fighting with someone, then it goes online, then people are rallying for you to get fired. Then now online you are the victim.
Yeah.
But when you're on the ground,
Yeah.
you are the macho
perpetrator.
man.
Yeah.
The perpetrator.
Yeah.
So I think there's a thin line because now on the internet, unfortunately, there are numbers, and your story can go either way,
Yeah.
and it can be like
So
even
true.
3 countries
Yeah.
against one person. It be Zambia, Zimbabwe, whatever against this one white person in South Africa.
So, but as Tash was saying, is that not cyberbullying
Yeah.
and not?
Yeah.
To a large extent it is.
No, yeah.
We have to accept it. It is. But then at the same time, that's why we say now, how can we then draw the line? Because our worlds are morphing, whether we like it or not. So you are the perpetrator offline, but
That's what I'm saying.
online
But you see,
you are now the victim.
Yes, but this is the thing. Like Tash, sorry, like you actually have brought in the other dimension about cyberbullying, right? Which is, so what is civic journalism? What is
Vigilantism.
that one?
And what's
And what is
cyberbullying?
cyberbullying? Because a lot of what, as I say, we keep mixing a lot of these things, and a lot of the stuff is either, for me, is either cyberbullying or civic journalism.
Right.
So
Like
what is
there's
that
no-
one?
That in between.
So-
And I think the difference with the in between is people feeling justified
Yeah.
to do it. So
Right.
like with cyberbullying, I guess that there isn't a justification or you can't rally other people into
Yeah.
the same opinion.
Yeah.
And then it becomes more like, oh, you're bullying this person.
Right.
But the vigilantism of it is that it becomes kind of quote unquote the public opinion about what they think is the parameters of right or
public
wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But is there something to be said about like a little bit of bullying being necessary in life?
Is there something to
Yeah.
be said about it?
No. I mean, like, if you're bullying a bully, fair.
It's
Okay,
necessary.
what is it? What is the
Yeah,
something?
if you-
So bullying is like encouraging people into a kind of behavior,
Right.
right? So it's like, yo, you know what? We think that you're being annoying at sports games, and we'd appreciate if you did less of that.
Right.
And whether it's you that's going to be affected by this, or the next people who are going to be about to do it and be like, but those guys last week got fired, right? But eventually, what you end up with is a more functional society.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a society where people behave better.
I like that. I like how you.
I mean-
See, that's actually a funny thing because I had it as a question about
Right.
does vigilantism work though in
Yeah.
terms of forcing people to be better, whether it's on or offline? And like, is it better though? Like, so since you've already brought up the question, is it better or is it just conforming to what society has decided is the right way to be right now?
I think
So-
you
Because
should be
people-
more accountable for your actions.
But then it's only
Yes,
here's
I don't know.
Okay,
Edit it out.
okay.
Vigilantism at work.
Vigilantism, I didn't understand that.
Okay. Because, so for example, it's not like things on Twitter change all the time. Something that's okay today is not okay tomorrow. You're being held by the standards of what's today. There's a reason why the law moves slowly because
Yeah.
they understand that these things are going to impact a lot of people over a long time and the law doesn't work retroactively, etc.
Right.
So it has to be well thought out.
Right.
It can't just be based on people's opinions of the day, how
Right.
people should behave in a certain way. So is it making people better if it's just that you have to be sure that you conform to whatever the thing of the day is?
No, so it's convenient, right? Because if we're honest with each other, our opinions change all the time, every day, right? And so today you posted, again, X gets fired. and then tomorrow you're like, but actually, and so like online, so like in the last couple of weeks, there's this one that came out where there was this he plays for PSG, there's this footballer, and they're getting divorced, whatever, and then so the guan was that no, he had put all the stuff in his mom's name, and then a couple of days ago it comes out that was fake news.
Yeah.
Right, it wasn't even real, but everyone was either between he did the right thing or that is absolute nonsense.
And the wildness about that, and I think the question that I would want to bring, and I'll start with you, Taku, with this question, is when it comes to something like this, the internet doesn't treat it that way, though. Not in context, because that's why you have people having their tweets from when they were 18 being resurfaced, even though the things that were happening or the context was wildly different.
Right.
So do we maintain the same energy about things that are happening in real time and about when we see somebody's tweet from 10 years ago and they're like, oh, fuck you, niggers. Something
These
like
fucking
that.
niggas.
Yeah, look,
Listen, man.
I think there should be one thing that there should be is the distinction that people do grow. So 10 years ago, text is different to today text, right? Let's appreciate that. And so let's rather use things that are current. That's what I think. And so if your current opinions are still like, hey, crackers, then let's do that.
Why did you put your leg out? We move.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way, Dennis?
So I hear it. I genuinely do. But I think at the end of the day, ultimately, what we want is for people to behave better. And there are going to be some people that are going to be affected by that process because you got bullied and you weren't supposed to, or, you didn't get bullied when you were supposed to. It's never going to be an entirely fair situation. But we need to try and find the one that's closest to that, the one that works closest to it. And what, Digilantism is essentially the court of public opinion on mass scale, right? And very often, especially in and around issues like sexual assault and rape, you hear about women who didn't get their, they weren't able to get justice because the justice system just doesn't work that way. But some of those guys get punished by that court of public opinion. So I mean, I understand why people be affected and why things will go wrong for some people, but at the end of the day, man, it is what it is.
So I think whilst we're closing up and the final question that I would like to bring to each of you, and then I'll start with you, TJ, and then we'll go like this, is whether we should accept that the court of public opinion, like you said, is the natural progression within the digital age. So should we just accept that truth really doesn't matter anymore, but more so it's perception?
Honestly, yes. And the only reason I'd say that is because we can't control the internet, right? There's too many of us using it all at the same time for us to fully have a handle on it, which is, it's part of what makes the internet great, but it's also part of what makes it wild, right? And as it evolves, yes, we will learn how to figure out and how to use it, and we'll then learn kind of those things. But I think in time immemorial, every single time there's an advent, and I don't think there's been an advent like the internet that brings community or people together in that way, right? So it's a completely new thing that we're trying to figure out as an entire world rather than a country or a village or whatever. And it's hard, right? But there's, in my opinion, there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to go through all of it and figure it out.
Oh, okay. And yourself, Vince?
I feel like Vigilantist.
Digimon. We just say Digimon.
If you consider being a digital vigilante or whatever, if it's for a good cause that's going to have an impact in a positive way, I think that's highly necessary. But I'm coming from even talking to our justice systems, our police, and the people who are in charge of the law, that they should also be accountable to what the people bring to also their attention. If people bring a situation where it needs to be looked at, then they should give out a statement like, okay, we've heard you. Let us now take over this situation. You people relax with your keyboard fingers, keyboard ninjas. Relax. Let us take over this and let us, deal with it in a way, because a system has to work.
Right.
And that's what we need. We don't want people going crazy and next thing you know, it then spills out from the digital world even into real life.
Yeah.
Where people are now going to people's houses.
And people do that. And they'll send death threats and
everything. Yeah. So I feel like we have to, the powers that be who are in charge of the justice system, they also have to step in when digital vigilante happens, and also, control that, because as human beings, we like to run with things. It's just in our nature, and also we should also engage the police and whatever, and be like, okay, this is what I have, and just take a step back and just allow due process to do what needs to happen, and that's what I think.
Taku?
Right. What I want to say, where's the camera? There we go. I want to talk right into the camera because I agree 100% with what Runvimbo was saying, right? Is that the court of public opinion is actually bullshit. What needs to happen is let's go through due process, let's get all the facts in place before we start giving opinions on matters. Because I'll talk about in Zimbabwe, for instance. I mean, we're global right now. We're ZIMbarbieAN here. But we're global, right? But what's important to understand is that every single thing, people look at Zim, they'll be like, oh, people are corrupt, you're corrupt, because everyone gets judged in the court of public opinion. In the court of law, the lawyers and the judges are sitting there and they're like, there are no facts. Let's bring the facts. So I think we need to start having that kind of mentality on social media.
About where are the facts?
Where are the facts? What is the true story? I mean, you guys spoke about that football player where it was one day he was giving everything to his mother. Next day, it's a lie, right? So that's what I think.
I hear that.
Take some time just to look at the facts.
Facts. And yourself, Dennis?
So I think people should should continue to do what they're doing on the internet. And ultimately what you're going to find is that things, they find an equilibrium by themselves. Right? So there's so much good that's come from it, so much bad that's come from it. But the one thing that we know for sure is unless if you're going to actually police how people communicate or what people say, you have no control over that.
Thank you.
So let's just benefit what we benefit and try mitigate what we can from an individual standpoint. Because you're not going to tell Jason Marikuva Kumbagwage Guti, you can't tweet this or like
shout out to Jason.
We got you.
Understand what civic journalism is versus what due process is and what this is,
vigilantism is, and so on.
Bro, just like as long as what you're doing is not illegal, do what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think that for me personally, I would say that let's grow up. That's the part. I think we all agreed that when it comes to things that are illegal, we agreed that yes, it's a good thing when it happens, but let's look at the facts, etc. But if someone hurt your feelings, bro, I'm a person now.
Or tweet about it.
Tweet about it. You know what I mean? That's not a reason to get someone fired. You should have said something in that moment. Or if not, then you decided, I'm going to go cry about it. Don't go calling dogs on Twitter. And with that, I will say, first of all, thank you guys for being on my channel. And thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you next week.
But can I just say, if you hurt my feelings and I can get you fired, I'm getting you fired.
No, but again, it's the problem with the whole No.
I hope I don't have to do it via Twitter.
I hope I know your boss. And it's my uncle. But that's part of the whole thing, where someone can just have a vendetta, right? And they can just be mad at you because, you know what, Jenna took my date. And now I'm mad. And it's like, you know what, I'm going to go on Twitter and fuck his life out.
If you take my date and I can get you fired, I'm getting you fired.
Be better, bro. Be better in real life, bro.
They call me the Holy Ghost, son of the Most, Father they don't know.